Yeah, this is. Are you kidding me? This is fucking. Look how
Nuketown.
clean Brian is right now. He's off the roof here,
Oh,
fucking
let me
doing a
do a
butt
number
scoot,
one right quick.
360 no scope. Fucking success mission right there. Wes liked it so much he disappeared. Team Talk 17? 17? That sound about right? I think so.
Maybe
I think
yes.
so.
I'm just going to nod and
You
smile.
nod. Yes, you nod. I don't smile. I'm trying to think of a rhyme there, but my brain is ready for bed.
Something crocodile.
Yeah, there we go. Crocodile. Elephant. Great game. Catch the butterflies. But what are we talking about? Gnats? The gnats that happened this past weekend?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Australian Nets, eh?
Australia
bad.
and Europe.
Tim is gonna watch back on that and literally puke.
Good.
There you go.
That's what he gets for not winning.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
maybe he'll join us here. It's a little late on our end of the world here, and I gotta fucking head to bed soon. So hopefully he'll be able to get in. We went a little bit later than normal to see if we can catch him and then talk about his experience with everything. But Beer, I see you typing away, so you take it away. What's your thoughts with the Nats that passed by this weekend? I know we still got a ways away, and I'm still a ways away to see if I get off this goddamn wait list, and I'm gonna complain about that every team talk.
True. Hopefully you do get in, honestly. I'm probably gonna delay talking about the Australia one just because I think Tim says he's on his way. But the Europe one, I mean, that was kind of crazy, dude. That top cut, insane. The like, do we need to talk about the cha-cha slide?
That's what else is there? Anything else happen? What else happened?
I mean, we maybe not the cha-cha slide, but I guess it's
Wave
good
the
to see
banners.
Jiren do good.
It did good-
the
it
Europe
did good in
results
Australia,
might
too.
be skewed, but it did top in Australia, so hopefully there wasn't no cha-cha sliding going on there. But
Really hope there wasn't.
Oh, that's good, and you can finally play Unison. And you're encouraged to, and you're rewarded. That's great.
yeah, Lucas burnt me twice with the Unison
Yeah,
today.
one turn back to back. You know what I should have done? I was just like, shit, I should have just play the Goku to burn you from 4 to 3 and then Topo from 3 to 2. But then I realized I'm like, I had enough markers to do it 2 turns in a row. This is ridiculous.
He burned me and went down to 3 markers, and I was like, "Whew! I don't have to get worried about getting burned by the Unison again anytime soon." Like next turn, he was like, "All right, we're going to minus however many it is," and I'm like,
-7 again.
Shit.
It was
I was like, "Oh,
trying to
I was
triple
wrong."
burn you. It was trying to go for two of the Unisons and then one for the Vegeta to cap it
Are we
off.
holding on that Nappa too?
You see, yeah, it should. It should just be a pure burn deck. Just people like, oh my god, he's gonna aggro the shit at me. Like, no, I'm just gonna burn you to death.
And it like doesn't even feel bad. Like unlike U7, they got to work for those markers and stuff and get the dispos out. So it feels fair, and it's red. So I was like, okay, all right, red's doing red things. That's fine.
I mean, 1 bean helps, 2 beans help.
Yep.
Cell Z card kind of counters that whole deck.
Yeah, I did get a good oob in there, and wasn't enough to turn the game around, but it helps.
Yeah,
everything it feels fair. Jiren's a good deck, and it puts out bodies, but it still feels fair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
think. Top cut though, like not the top cut, the Swiss for day 1 for the Europe. If I remember correctly, it was the final match was what Aegis Gogeta versus U7, right?
Probably.
Sounds about right.
For day 1.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was.
What I'd put my money on.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, of all the options and all the decks to like get all the way to the finals for the Swiss, like it was just those 2 heavy control ones, and then you go to day 2 and it's like we're going through. Yo, wait a minute, why is there Jiren? What's going on here?
Jiren, what was up, Green Gohan? I think Green Gohan made top 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't look at any of the top cuts.
I think so. I know. Obviously, Australia, the Gohan was in top 8 because of Raid C. And then like for Australia, I know like I think half the top 8 was just the U7 deck. But like, it's also kind of crazy when you think about it that like if they're doing the whole thing for Europe, the fact that they only made the cutoff at top 8 for the top cut.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. So like a lot of like there's people who like literally missed out by minor percentages of making it in.
And they just went X1 in
Yeah.
Swiss.
Yeah.
Damn.
That stinks. But they're still top 16 prizing row, right?
Yeah, they still got their top 16 prizing because I think that happened to Tim. He came, I think he went X2 and he came 10th with
Okay.
Cooler Mill.
Mm.
Not
And
bad.
literally was just because he lost his first round. Or like I think if it was a later round, he probably would have made it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Curious what his matchups were.
I don't get how you can have a nationals and not at least do top 16 prizing. If you have top 16, or I mean, can't do top 16 cut if you already have designated top 16 prizing.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
If there's hundreds of people and it's the most prestigious event in your region, top 8 cut. Huh.
Yeah. I don't know how many people went for Europe. I know for Australia it wasn't too many people. It was only like 76 players, I think.
Okay.
So it wasn't like that one I can kind of understand cutting at top 8 just because only 76 players. I
Yeah.
don't know for Europe though.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know if we had only top 8 here, there'd be a lot of people upset.
Dude, if there's only top 8 here,
especially
holy smokes.
especially since what it capped out at the number I've
32.
heard is like
Oh, yeah.
512 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just curious if it's going to be top 32 or top 16 playing the next day. Have they announced that yet?
It's probably going to be top 32 still because it's based
Yeah.
off of numbers. If you look at like the rule manual, like the tournament rule manual, depending on like the player size, it changes how many players there is for top cut.
Gotcha.
So I
Okay. Yeah,
think for
probably 32 then
512
if we're
it's
capped out. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, I've only been 2 nats so far, and yeah, it's been 2 years ago was only top 16 cut, and then I got
Really?
and then I got 23rd or something, 21st. Yeah, and then the next year it's top 32 cut, and then I was like top 16 in Swiss. So it was like, come on, you know.
Actually, I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I can check the rule book quick.
Yeah. No, I believe you. I mean, California was smaller than Florida, obviously, because of strict COVID rules and stuff like that. So it would make sense if that was the case based off of tournament participation.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously the coverage, went to Lookout did pretty good coverage there, so that was great. And then of course the infamous finals there. It's Mr. Cha Cha Slide. My God,
He's just a
I
better
can't
human than us.
believe that.
Yeah, that was a bold apology too.
Yeah, the translation, it's rough, and you can kind of like assume what he's trying to say, but it's so funny how it's translated. Binocular vision.
Oh man.
What does that mean?
I didn't see
Hey,
this.
Miguel, you
Apology.
translated it, right?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, do you want to do a live reading?
Live reading. Read it out
Okay.
to me.
Miguel,
Pretend
yeah,
you're Dr. Seuss.
Miguel translated it, so you could probably find the more accurate version there.
It says in the tournament manual, this is interesting. It says 513 to 1024 players, 10 rounds, top 32, but 257 and 512 is 9 rounds, top 16. That's so up in the air because last year was 512 and it was still top 32.
Dang.
That's so up in the air.
All right. Here's the live reading for those that missed it. So, I guess you should do a brief summary. Why don't you do a brief summary of what happened exactly? So anyone who hasn't somehow been informed about this, if they're not in the toxic groups, then good for them, first of all. But get them caught up on what actually happened.
So in the top 4, the cheater, let's just call him the cheater, who cares? Because that's what he is. His opponent was playing the U7 Goku deck, and he swung at one of his 1-drops. He killed the 1-drop, and then the dude literally had like a card of stacks like this with the Jiren, like the 4-cost Jiren on top, and then the 1-cost under. And as he put his 1 card in the grave, he literally just made them 2 different stacks. so that way on his next turn, and then like when he did it, it was like kind of like this. It was like okay, a little bit over each other. Okay, whatever, it's fine. And then when he passed his turn, he restood. He just restood both like as if they were like two separate cards, and it's like no, you that's a whole different chain you can start there, buddy.
And I think he actually shifted it over once and then shifted it over a little bit
Yeah,
again.
he got the double tap on
To
there.
try to for sure make sure that it was two separate cards, right? Okay, so he did that, obviously got caught, and then here's his comments. All right, here we go. This is translated. I believe I don't know, is he Spanish or
French.
French? He's French. Okay. So keep in mind, this is definitely broken English. Long-awaited explanations by the common of mortals. Jiren is
That's already
in
good.
This meta, I know, right? Jiren in this meta is tier 1 because it hits U7 yellow 90% of the time if it's well piloted, and a lot of people play U7 yellow. Basically, we span the battle board when we eat Kinto, and we have 5 strikes left. 1 battle, 2 leader, 2 unites. Unisons. I don't know. We can burn 1 to 2 PV Gratos and finish the last 2 when we can. He also has great defense with Diff Dance Eagle Letter.
That
Moving
sounds
on
like
to
it
the
could be
top.
my spirit name.
Diff Dance Eagle. Yeah.
Diff Dance Eagle Letter.
Moving on to the top 4. Talk about a game that takes place after 8 rounds on Saturday, 3 hours of sleep, 2 BO3 already played. I'm G1 and this is T1, and I'm on camera. A simple hint of intelligence would make you understand that the cheating in this spot makes absolutely no sense. The trick is he killed my 1-drop, and I wanted to shift the right card to the center. The bottom one didn't come, and I didn't see it because the ref was telling me a trick, and plus I don't have binocular vision, so reduced peripheral field. And the fatigue helped I mechanically straightened everything. Moving on. I agree with the fact that it deserves a warning or even a game loss, but not a DQ, and much less retrospective. For me, the referee is responsible for the situation, and if he didn't see that's so bad. When there is such a situation in sports, you don't take away the winning team's victory for an unwhistled hand in the semifinals. Anyway, I think what you want of me. I'm probably a much better person than you, humanly, because I, unlike you, don't attack or snitch on anyone on social media. To the wise. And that's it.
Nice apology, huh?
Whew.
So the apology
I
just
suck
ends
at
with
reading,
"fuck you." That's it. Fuck you. I'm better.
Exactly.
You
Oh
know
my
what? What a
gosh.
way to do an apology. Amen.
I know. And I was like,
To be fair, that's not entirely a proper translation.
It's
Miguel
better.
did provide a proper translation though.
Miguel, but this one is
This one
way
sounds way worse.
Yeah.
This is way better.
I like this. I haven't read the other one, but this one's way funnier. Way more funny. I don't know.
I
But
mean,
I'm not
it's the gist of it's pretty much the same. I mean, he still says a small hint of intelligence. Like, brother,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, no, I get the gist of what he's saying. My immediate reaction was like, well, pretty sure like they took away the Brewers or no, the Astros World Championship when they caught them cheating. Like that happened, right? So that's a sports reference. They definitely took away that running back's Heisman. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Like people do get awards, and
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong, yeah, like his.
When are we gonna start
maybe
doing
they don't do.
gear to
Maybe they
play
don't do
cards?
it in. Yeah, maybe they don't do it in football, but
Yeah.
they do in every other sport I can think of. Like if you are hard cheating, they definitely strip you of all your rewards. Like that's a thing.
I was going to say, in those cases, they actually made the necessary steps to remove what sort of prizing or monetary gain or fame and everything was there. So Bandai actually needs to go and say, hey, we're going to use legal means to take back the prizes that you've stolen from the other, at least one of the other players.
Oh yeah, hey, welcome. Also, yeah, he was. There was a later post saying that he was asked to give back the prizing and is just disqualified. But if I was him and already dug myself a thing, why not just try to keep it and then make them actually come and get it from you? I'm sure that's what's going to happen. He's already dug himself a pretty big hole here, so
He made
Yeah,
it
It's gonna be a
stance.
tough one
You
for them
guys
to
are
even
all the
force him
idiots.
to take it.
That's
Yeah. I mean, I got myself a gold leader. Like you guys, I mean, I made my money. I'm out. I'm planning to go play Lorcana.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for them to get the pricing back from him because like he's in France, so like international law is gonna be a thing to also consider. Like that's gonna be a whole mess. But if Bandai's really vindictive about it, they'll probably get it from him either way. They have a
So
ton of
that would
support.
shift everybody's placements. I wonder if like everybody has to give back their pricing, and then redistribute the first, second, third medals and
Maybe.
stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel sorry for the guy that got fourth.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets his.
I was gonna
Or
say
is it top?
fourth when you should have been second, right? Minimum.
Right, yeah, because he lost to this guy in
Yeah.
a prior round or whatever. Third or fourth place.
Oh yeah.
Be second, like
So, yeah. So yeah, that's a crappy situation. Tim's here, right? So.
Tim and Anthony are both
Yeah,
here.
we got Tim.
Oh, and Anthony. Yeah. All right. Nice.
well, we're done talking.
Saved Australia for you guys.
Let's hear about Australia Nats.
That's
we
the
can only
Europe
speculate.
recap.
Yeah, we went over Europe. We weren't even there. We just assumed.
Cha-cha slide.
Did a couple cha-cha slides. So let's hear how it happened on the other side of the world.
Tim, you can take it away on that one.
Oh, well, we had 80 players, which at least for us is a larger turnout than we usually do. John did very well. I heard people starting some shit saying that, John only won because of Bursting Rage had its errata or whatever. They don't know that John actually played Weezy in Swiss and won, and then beat him 2-1 in the Top Cut. So he convincingly beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So overall, I went. We had 8 rounds. We had Swiss plus, which is undefeated plus 2 rounds, which was actually a pretty good call. It means we get the best players on the top. And I went 6 out of 8, losing my round 1 in a very silly matchup. And I think my round 5, which then put me in 10th place with a score equal to pretty much everyone in top 8 except for John, who only lost 1 game. And it was cut at top 8, so I was just outside of it.
What are your matchups?
But the first one was against Sinstron and Mon, which, considering I'm playing cool, I'm supposed to be able to win. But if you don't see any explosive dance and you don't see a Vera super combo, and they swing for 30k double strike followed by 35k double strike followed by Koitsukai followed by whatever on turn 2 and 3, you just can't win.
The Bane of Cooler Mill. You need every deck really, but not seeing your beers is just really rough, really rough.
And then the other loss 2 was in like round 5 against someone who we play against regularly, Blake. He was in top 8. He was playing U7, and he sided a third of his sideboard specifically for me, which he loves doing because he wanted revenge for when I desperate measured and Durined him when we had Janemba versus Virus on stream. So every other matchup besides that, Trunks Gohan, I won 2 Android 21s, which I won. Yeah, that was the only LU7 I versed, which is weird.
Yeah, I imagine people are definitely on it, but not everybody's gonna play it. So it's good to hear a little bit of diversity, but
over half the people in top 16 were yellow U7.
Yeah, it's definitely your safest ride to the top cut.
Definitely.
But it's good to see that, like, you're not going to always see it, but you'll probably see it twice, 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy with how it went. Anthony, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, sure. So my main event started pretty poorly with a loss in a fairly close game. That is, I don't know whether I could have won it or not. Maybe I didn't need to push. Maybe not. We would have to go back and work it out. But it was a good game nonetheless. I then went on a long winning streak to get myself back into contention, and round 5 and then 7, or round 5 and then 8, ran into 2 red decks that hit the nuts. I saw nothing. I died on turn 4 in both those games. and there
As
was
you
like
do.
nothing. Yeah, and there was nothing I could do about it. Like you could do, I don't know. You would need to have seen different cards. There was nothing to be done, so it is what it is. I then went and
were you
played.
playing the Soul Striker?
I was playing Soul Striker, so it was most unfortunate that it went that way. I then decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to have some fun, and played the side event the following day, and played the blue fat Gotenks for the side event, and went 4-1 and finished third with fat Gotenks.
Awesome.
And like Tim and myself were the only ones that played like random fun decks for that. Everyone else was using their decks from the previous day, so it makes me think I should have just played Goten for the main event.
People would not be prepared for it. I mean,
surprise
factor for sure.
Yeah.
His deck is actually crazy, going 20k leader swing, 25k leader swing, 30k leader swing,
Yeah, 'cause it's
45k leader
banned.
swing.
Yeah,
The deck is nuts. It's so much fun.
yeah. I got a good buddy, Andrew from Michigan. He unfortunately doesn't make it to any events, but yeah, he loves that leader. So for me, it's Go Tanks, but the wrong color. Yeah.
So yeah, that was my event. It was good fun. We all enjoyed ourselves.
I will add, there was another matchup I had. My second to last match was against Hachiak, played by M, who is probably the best Hachiak player in the world. Now, I have a lot of experience playing against him. We've played at Janemba and that together a lot. He was not expecting when I'm playing Cooler that I have 2 of the King Piccolo Unison in my side. And what I did was I just sat back and did nothing, and then occasionally hit him for damage. And then on turn like 10, I paid 7 energy to play the King Piccolo Unison and just went pass. He went, okay, you're not going to try and use any, but I'm like, no. And then he starts his turn, charge, leader swing, and I go explosive dance. And the only thing in his Z energy is the 5-drop counterattack Goku. The 1-drop counterattack Goku.
Yeah, 5k.
So
Yeah.
you literally can't swing again. And he's like, uh-oh. And then he sits there for about 5 minutes trying to work out a way around it. And I'm like, explosive dance and Oceanus in this case do the same thing, because explosive dance is a hard don't attack at all. Oceanus is, do you want to kill the Unison so it stops killing you, or do you want a deck? He would have had to make the choice. And basically, he worked out, okay, he can't touch it, he can't do anything. Back to my turn, 11 energy, tap the entire lot, burn it for 7. He only had 5 life, but it was funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
Not
awesome.
enough damage. I'm disappointed, Tim. You needed 8.
But it's a good sport. He found that very funny. He very much
Burn's getting out of hand.
It's getting scary.
Oh, it really is.
It felt like I was playing Soul Strike and Voco again, burning that much in one turn.
It's back.
Gotta get to turn 11.
That's the secret, boys. Turn 11. Just charge pass.
It's when the real turns start.
That's when the set 2 Zamasu comes into play, the SPR.
Now we're talking. Good decks. As for how the event was run, being there, how did you find it?
The event was run fantastically. There was no problems in terms of the event being run at all. And I think in terms of judging problems, I think there was like one minor inconvenience with Anthony's game, actually, is what the judge reported. Just because Anthony had one of his games where they were right at the end of time, and the opponent wanted to block but didn't say it, and they just entered the combo step, and then they called time, and he's like, no, but I wanted to block. And then the person playing Anthony got very annoyed.
Yeah, I basically declared my attack. We still had maybe 15-20 seconds left of time. He said no counter, and I said I paused for what must have been 5 seconds at least, and the judge was standing over the top of me. And then I said, all right, fine. Here's some combo. And he's like, whoa, I wanted to block. And I was like, I'm waiting for your response here, mate. And so he then kicked up a fuss, and yeah, judge reckons I did nothing wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong, but yeah, that was about the biggest crazy thing that happened all day.
The only thing besides that,
yeah.
The only thing besides that, which I was directly responsible for trying to fix, was there was another game with Benny, one of our best players, and he was playing against Jonathan, both of which were in top 8 at the end of this. But this is in Swiss when they played each other. At the end of their game, they were playing U7 versus Trunks Gohan. The judge saw the board and they had to, because they were in the same life, and tried to look at the game state and called that the Gohan player had a Z extra, which counts as a battle area card, a battle card, which counts, and looked at the unison and counted the card under it because the unison was baby. And no one else around, even though there were 15 people watching, picked up on the fact he just counted a card in the unison area when counting battle cards on board for the sake of end game timing, which no. and this is so they reported the results and they were done. I was like, he just did that wrong. You're aware of that? And everyone went, hey, you're right.
Oh no.
No.
Huh.
It didn't matter. They both made top 8, but
that's good. It really sucks when it comes down to that. But yeah, that's crazy that happened. About the blocker, how did the judge resolve that? Like, did he say no black, or did he give him the black?
Anthony?
No, he was basically told that he had the opportunity to have blocked, and that he was given ample time, and that he had missed his chance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I agree. I mean, you give him time, and he would. I mean, at least if he just mentions, thinking block, something like that, then obviously he would have a decision to make there. But yeah, totally, I agree.
Yeah, so the event was run really well. For the most part, everyone was in good spirits. Everyone was happy. Bleatsy was throwing coins at us. I think he's just trying to make up for last year.
Throwing coins.
Well, he did. He let an Australian go this time. That's making up for it.
Yeah.
And then the top 8 though, that was some crazy stuff too though. We were watching that on stream at Game 3 on Saturday. Oh, that was insane. Those were some cool games.
Some good stuff. Some very good play.
Yeah. I was surprised when I saw like Jiren in top 4. I'm like, yo, what's going on here?
That was Alan as well. He was the one playing Weezy last year.
And he was on Cooler last year, right?
Yeah.
Unison Cooler.
Don't bring up that Dex name again. let it rest.
Yeah, that's it. Now has a funny reputation.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Was it was TAC Games that ran it?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I was going to say that I recorded a deck profile of the Gotenks deck while I was there. It's on one of the local Australian channels, but it's a fairly small one. But yeah, if anyone wants the list, they can always just hit me up. The deck is just so much fun to play.
The channel is Hazy Plays, if anyone wants to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was good fun. It got round like all of the floodgates because like blue was running Android 17, red was running Explosive Dance, yellow was almost non-existent, but then it basically hard loses to this deck anyway because you're just happy to rest as the extra, keep swinging and swing with your leader one more time for a really big number. And if they're running Nimbus, you really just don't care because most of them are running Nimbus instead of Riposte anyway. And so even green, you don't care if they dormant because your 2 attacks for the turn are going to be with your leader. So you get to make them really big, draw a ton of cards and apply pressure. And if they're using the green Gohan negate or something like that, then you don't mind charging his energy because you've got a 13 card hand and your leader is swinging for like 35 or 40 base to begin with. So
Sounds fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I can't seem to find it. HAZY plays?
HASEY plays, yes.
SZY plays. Okay. One word? 2 words.
Should be.
Okay.
Huh.
Shout out Hazy, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I got to link this to my buddy.
Yeah, Hazy Plays Gaming.
Huh.
Nice. Well, seems like the event went well, so I'm glad to hear that. I hope all of the other Nats follow. What do we got left, honestly, besides obviously America?
Isn't it like France and
What?
Italy?
Latin America.
Latin America still.
Yeah.
Are they all December, or is there
Yeah,
some also in
he's going to
January?
be going to play Leighton as well.
Yeah, he said he's going to Latin America. He's on that world tour.
Doing the world tour.
Yep. For some
Yeah.
reason they made a ruling you weren't allowed to and then reverted on it.
But I'm gonna say, so since you guys did do your nats and everything, what advice would you give to those who haven't gone to their nats yet for this year?
U7 will be there. And if you're bursting U7, expect them to be running bursting because it actually is better. They'll run Goku's Kamehameha, they may run Unison, they'll run bursting, they'll try and kill you with their Z leader. They as an alternate win con again, because the deck totally needs 3 alternate win cons. But yeah, make sure you have a teched out sideboard for that. If you don't, you're not gonna.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what you're saying is run negates that can't be countered for the leader swing late game.
Ideally, yes. Run those non-counterable counters that
Watch
have
them
always
cross
interaction tokens or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Save it for the leader swing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And besides that, a large chunk of the format, at least for us, was there were people playing Pan and Gohan and androids and Jiren. Because at least as far as we can tell, it's most people's answer to U7 is just hitting them harder, faster. Kinda. I'm obviously I haven't actually played those decks, so I'm not quite sure how they're managing to do that. Like I've seen the list our team has made, and I'm not quite sure how they're able to actually aggro them down. But well,
Little
I mean,
slide
honestly,
might help.
you have like a small window to like hyper aggro them, and then if you can't kill them in time in that window, they just stabilize and beat your ass. Like you literally,
yes,
basically
Yeah,
like
you basically need to hit them before they get to their 4th turn.
Mhm.
Once they hit turn
Yeah.
4, they're stabilizing already.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
because
they're
they just
swinging with
image.
20K bodies and 19K bodies and stuff like the first 3 turns, and then kind of falling back on the topo unison burns like turn 4 on.
Yeah, but that's just for Jiren. The other red decks, like Jiren has a pretty decent matchup overall because it has like early game pressure. Then it has like 8 drops that are pretty big, and if they don't have a time magic, like they'll swing 3 times with it, right? Like
Mhm.
that's something big. They can swing through the leader for like 30K, but like the other red decks, they kind of suffer rather heavily. Like the red Gohanks has a decent matchup as well because it can play a bit of a long game and it has main board like ignoring barrier removal, which is very very good. But overall, like if the yellow player is able to establish like the Sin Shenron regional card, things like that, and just stabilize, you don't have a chance. They just clown on you. You don't have a real answer to it. You have to tap to Kaioken or to Black Smoke, and that just feels terrible in red. And then you're okay. Now I wasted 200 to answer this one card, and then just go from there. Like it's
Yeah,
very tough.
I'm not a red player, but the 2 matchups that I think would be worth testing for red players against that would be like Dr. Hedo or Android 13. Both with the amount of pressure that they could potentially apply early and see what happens in those matchups. How would they be different from Jiren?
The problem is that the Hedo, for example, is all you really need to do, even against Jiren, is just play the Z card that beans your leader. Like you just play that on your turn 2, play it on your turn 3. You're a 20K leader. That alone makes it a lot harder. Like the Hedo at least has a bit of leeway because the 5K push from the Z card makes them, get an extra 5K boost. Like that obviously helps a bit. But like for Jiren, their early pressure, all their beaters are 15 and 19Ks. If you're a 20K leader, now this deck that like it draws in bursts, right? Like it draws like if it does the right sequence and the pan lives and the dispo lives, yada yada, like it'll draw like potentially 4, 5, 6 cards in one go, but then it doesn't draw anymore. And then it's like, okay, well, I got to swing 15 combo 1, swing 15 combo 1, swing 19 combo 1, yada yada. And then meanwhile, U7's like, all right, I'm just gonna combo this draw. I'm gonna combo that and combo that draw. I'm gonna combo this draw. I'm gonna right. So it it really just becomes a bit of a patience game, and then you just have to like make sure you're clearing the board on your turn consistently. if you're able to do that, you just stabilize, and then Jiren gets stuck. And then like I said earlier, all you need is like a well-timed time magic, and like they can't even pressure with their boss monsters.
It sounds like the general conclusion and consensus is that when the next ban list comes, U7 will be on it.
In some
Probably
way.
not though. It took them what, a year to hit like SS4 though.
Well, they
Yeah,
gotta
but
wait till after it wins.
they'll do something like they did with Go One, is hit a small part of the deck and see what happens.
Maybe.
Hit the 6-drop. That would be enough.
I mean,
The 6-drop needs a once per turn on that activate main to restand.
Yeah, that would work.
that would
Or
definitely
even, well, in theory, even if you made it so that it could attack 3 times but no more, it would probably still not be totally broken. Like, it would still be incredibly strong, but aiming for 3
Even
damage on
attacking
that
3 times could be too much.
See, the thing is at the moment, the reason it's so powerful is because it can attack a virtually unlimited number of times. And if you're on 4-5 life, that's a problem. But if you're on 3, like if you're on that many life, 2 to 3 attacks is not going to be a big deal. They're not going to want to spend 4 energy to play Goku and then back it up with cooler counter. So you're better off just saying, hey, limit it to 2 or 3 attacks, and then the whole problem's basically fixed.
Yeah, that deck, there's not one individual card I would say that's like just completely busted. It's just that how they all intertwine with each other. Like the leader just charging all of that Z energy is what makes the 6-drop busted.
Well, the leader is basically a 25k when you think about it, just because of the way it combos. So
they put an extra 10k combo to literally every single turn for free.
Every single
That's
battle
what makes the deck good.
Mm.
Yeah,
the
that's why
Android
like
16
low
thing, but
into
you
the ground
draw.
is low into the ground is low and wide is definitely the best strategy against it. Just like because they only get the free combo for once a turn, so it's like they're gonna have to over combo every time if they want to see new cards. And
You might be right about Hedo though. Like it does have barrier on your turn, so they can't even rest their cards with that Vegeta power of Super Saiyan. You might actually be onto something there, honestly.
That's
It's just on the crackback.
Yeah, I mean, I think
on their turn they can rest anything, but like
but
while
on
you're
your turn though.
attacking them, they can't Vegeta Z charge and tap something. Yours is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can go wide with 15k bodies, or if they're being 20k, it's like I think it could become a little awkward with their combo steps.
Yeah, but it's not, it's not the end of the world for them either. So
no, it might go from
Nimbus
like
gets really high
14
value
to
too,
10 or 11 cards in hand.
I think it's more
there's
about
really
like
no
the
good
fact that
answer, but
it's the efficiency of everything, right? Like when you think about it, right? I pay 1 to play a 4-drop barrier blocker that rests on me normal barrier, enables my burn, and it draws me 1, and I spent 1. All the good counterplays that hit it, like think about it, right? You go to red, you got to do denial of hope to not get a body on board, and you basically minus a card in hand, and they plus the card in hand, so you didn't like they lost nothing, and you lost 2 energy and got nothing. Like Jiren has Kettle, so at least you're getting a body and a draw. Like that's a
still
little
costs
bit
2,
decent.
right?
It's a bond 3 for the cost reduction too.
It's still a cost 2 to play though.
It's 3 cost original. Bond 3 makes it a 2 cost.
Yeah. So still expensive.
Yeah, but it's still a body. You get a draw. Like okay, that's like probably the best you're gonna get in red.
Yeah.
Right. And then like you look at like what blue red. Like okay, you got the Vegeta counterplay. Okay, that's a decent card. Fine. Right. Then you go to like green, and you have what you have at best. Well, no, green has a decent one with the cooler. The cooler, will
cooler's
hit
like
it.
the best one to hit
The best
it.
one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then like what you go to yellow. I mean, they don't really prevent it from hitting the board. They'll just rest it with steadfast or with like the Android 17 that the deck just runs. Okay, fine. Like those are 1 energy plays. That's fine. Those are and like one of them replaces up fantastic. But then it's like you keep going down the list. You're like, okay, but like this is super inefficient. You go to the blue one. You're like, wow, this is super inefficient. Like it's like the trade off to remove and deal with these cards is the issue. Is like you're what they gain versus what you lose is just too much of a gap. That's the problem. Like the 30, like I agree, the 6 cost is obviously an annoying card, but like technically every deck has it. Like most colors have an answer to it. It's just it's an annoying card because they only spent 1 to do it, and you got to spend more than 1 to answer it. That's the problem, right? Same with the 1-drop. Same with the Deadly Defender. They paid one, killed something, and played a Deadly Defender. You're like, oh, okay. And then they rested with their leader and rest something else. They're like, wait, and you just drew off that too? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm fairly confident somebody on their dev team was like, "Hey, you meant to make this a limit 1, restand it, right?" And they're like, "Nah, it's got to win worlds first. Let's make it a septuple attack 1-drop."
We gotta
we know it's
plan.
going to be good. Let's give it a champion version.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's give it a gold one.
we gotta
Thank
start
God the
planning
activate
for the
main
next
is
ban
on this
list.
activate main though. Like, imagine if the activate main to restand it was just on the card by default and wasn't for the turn that it's played with the activate main. Then, like, Yano would just be the undisputed best choice. Tap down your opponent's energy. Be like, yeah, this guy's a 40k dual attack, triple strike, and let's just keep restanding him. Boom, 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 boom. Like, imagine it was like that.
You're filthy. You have filthy thoughts.
Yeah, I might be a little sadistic.
It does sound horrifying. But any final thoughts on Nats talk or anything that you guys want to bring up before we close it out here?
Get your TPs. TPs are legal for our Nats, so have fun with that.
Legal for ours. So no 13 for me. It's going in at 4 now, but I didn't have 13.
100%.
Yeah, that changes a bit.
It does. That's actually something to take with a grain of salt too. Is like these Nats did not have the TPs, and that does change a lot. Like those TPs are pretty big for a lot of decks. You'll see some stuff that you would not imagine or think about, and like it'll show up because of it.
Yeah.
The Android 13 is seriously strong. Like, I remember back several sets ago, I had a cooler mill deck that I had built. Tim will remember it, where I had put in the one-drop Kunchi. And the one-drop Kunchi at like 2 or 3 copies was excellent because once you were awakened, it was pay 1 energy, play this card, draw a card, next something by 4k, draw another card, and mill them 1. All for 1 energy on your turn instead of only doing things on your opponent's turn. But Android 13 is just way upgraded on that.
Android 13 is power crept in every single way. The other thing that I thought about today, which makes it even better, is because it can also hit Innocence with Z Awakened, it's an on-demand way to draw an extra card. Like, they don't even have to have a battle card. What you neg the Unison, that triggers your leader skill because it's a battle card negging the Unison, which gives you the draw and the draw. Easy. Because currently, the only way to really trigger that skill when you're not hitting a battle card is the Go 100. So having a second battle card that can actually do it basically whenever you want is fantastic.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So Cooler Mill will be better. 7Q will be irrelevant. Those are the things that come to mind with TP edition.
Soul Striker.
There's a lot of good TPs.
Yeah.
Even the King Piccolo green ones are pretty good.
Wait, does that say you have to be a blue Saiyan for that Vegito TP?
You just need some blue leader.
If your leader is blue and you have 3 or more energy.
Oh, let's go on Bojack. I'm gonna actually rebuild Bojack real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm bringing it back, boys.
A few more reading. Yeah. I never bothered to read the cards in Bojack. I always lose to it.
I think it's a solid card for 3-hon too, because like I was playing in locals today and just that Vegito just bouncing a card back to hand, and then you pay 2 for the Goku SHZ battle card. Had someone bottom deck 5 cards from him.
No, Betty, no. What you've got to do is, I've done this online a few times. I've done it in person. They've got 10 or 12 cards in hand. They've got 5 or 6 cards, battle cards on the board, and you play Beast Hunt and bounce them all to their hand and give them an 18-card hand, and then play the card.
There you go. Yep.
That's evil. I like it.
Bottom 8 cards, please.
Something I want to bring up before we're done. Now that we have starter decks and some of the actual set coming out, what are people's thoughts on Fusion World?
Hate it with fire. Kill it.
Hopefully it brings advertisement to Masters.
I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest. But
I mean, we have at least one.
I'm a prediction made.
I'd rather just play set 1 and 2 Masters.
Agreed.
They are working.
Pre-Mecha
There is
Masters,
someone
that's
doing
what
that
I'd
Go
rather play for
format
sure.
where it's all up until what, set
1 to
9?
I don't know
Yeah.
why they did 9. Honestly, that's when Surge Leaders. I'm just like, you
Nine
could have
feels
scaled
too
it back.
fast.
You could have put
like-
it to
I
6.
feel like 6.
Yeah, 1 to 6. That's kind of what
Mm.
they had vaguely on the online client. If they just left the online client like that, I was having fun. Okay.
Well, like a real question: does the game have negates yet?
No, they
No.
will not have negates.
No, they refuse.
There's no negates allowed.
So you'll
No
be
counters.
playing, and then you'll out of habit say no negate. Your opponent will look at you confused.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I still do
what
that
crack is this guy smoking?
whenever I play One Piece a little bit.
Yeah,
No
when I
negates.
tried it out the other day, I did that too. I was like, no negates.
Yep.
No
No, it's-
combos. I'll take the damage.
I'm at bare minimum seeing it from the perspective of a competitive player of this game. There's no reason not to play it because you'll always do well. Because like we all know how to combo well. We all know how to attack well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
basic of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
So the
start
bare minimum-
playing. I didn't start playing till like set 11 or somewhere around there. And so like, I'm jumping into the game and it's just like free play everything everywhere. And I'm just trying to play like these shitty decks with cool characters. So it'd be kind of cool to like see it,
Did you ever play
somewhat-
sealed or draft?
Oh, you would have come in when there was Vegex and like King Vegeta and whatnot.
It was
And Dark
it was
Broly.
Dark Broly. Dark Broly was the deck.
Okay, so hang on. If we're talking free play for a moment, what do you guys think of the new Android deck? Like, I think that has a bit too much free play, but that's just me.
It
Oh,
does, but it
Android
loses to a
17,
single
18?
floodgate.
It's actually a pretty good deck. I was playing a heavy board
I'm
control deck
surprised
and
more
they were
people
able
aren't
to
playing it.
rebuild. Yeah, like they can just be at 0 cards on board and then for 1 or 2 energy just have like 4 or 5 bodies on board.
Yeah. But I feel like if you compare the two new red ones, like Future Gohan, like I think a double crit is more impactful than 2 swings or whatever. So, and that's it's kind of like on demand, and I don't think androids can keep up in the long game like Gohan can either too. So, I guess if you're just looking at the new set and you're picking between each one, I mean, I get it. I would definitely choose Gohan as well, but
They got pros
you
and
can
cons.
go wide.
It's a-
Yeah. It's not
Like
bad.
Gohan will draw more, but like the androids have.
It's just like Hito and 13, they're kind of
Yeah.
like this android go wide is an archetype. It's a thing, I guess, Red androids go burr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. However, the Android 13 deck can mainboard the pan from the anti-box because it has a built-in way to increase power where the Gohanks deck does not. So that's like one thing it does have going for it. And it can use the red 13 TP, which Gohanks cannot. Like those are 2 very strong cards that it has access to. And late game turn 4 onwards, they literally just pay 2 energy and they play their SR and they swing with that. Then like they do the Excel's dance, go 35 double, do the active main, pitch itself, swing 19 crit and 19 double strike and draw 1 there, and then do the Excel dance's second ability, replay the 8 drop from the grave on top of the 2 you just swung with, another 30 double. Like you're pushing basically 6 damage worth over 2 energy, which is actually insane when you think about it. It's just the
And
deck loses to 1 floodgate.
It's not like little 6 damage. It's like really big numbers 6 damage too.
Yeah. It's a good deck, but it's literally it's just like Hito, where it's like if your opponent has 1 floodgate, you're done. It doesn't matter what you do. But if they don't have a floodgate, they're dead turn 3. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I'd place it above Hito for sure. I think because you have those 20, 25k swings as well without comboing, so that can be really relevant. I think Hito's mostly like 15k swings.
15 20s, 15, 20, and 25s.
Yeah. So I think the swings are just a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Fusion World, I mean, no, to me, I think it's okay. I mean, let people have their fun. I just don't want our game to
It's okay.
go down the drain for it. It's just like, why did you make it? Like nobody asked, but whatever. Like sure. And like,
I just think it's a fun thing, maybe to play on the go. Obviously, that's the point. And maybe like store credit, you just get a couple packs, get a starter deck, and rock up at an event and do well because we all know.
Just play the yellow freeze.
I'll play it on the phone. I think a lot of us will play it on the phone, and we'll see how we like it. I know I've been playing Lorcana. I kind of enjoy the simpler aspect of it. But yeah, it just seems like if I'm going to play Dragon Ball, I want to
Dragon Ball.
think.
If I want to play One Piece, I'll go play One Piece. I don't need to play reskin One Piece. If I want to play One Piece, I'll play One Piece. That's the gist of it for me. But I mean, if people want to play a simpler game, by all means, play a simpler game. I'm not gonna down talk anybody for that. I will say this though, I do know like at Nats the day 2 when they're doing the Fusion World event, part of the pricing is like it has its own like Fusion World packs, but it also has some Masters packs. So I think what they're gonna do probably is for both games, they're gonna have participation include something from the other game in there, and I think that's actually a very smart move.
That would be a good idea.
That's good.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that is because I know that's what they're doing for the Zenkai event at not Zenkai. I'm just saying the Fusion World event at Nats. Like I know that's 100% happening, and that is in the pricing for sure. So if they keep up that for like everything else, I think that's a pretty smart move.
Yeah,
I think that's a good place to end. That's Fusion World. Hopefully, it helps both games. That's. We just don't want it to strangle one of them to death because, it'll probably be ours if it ends up being strangled to death. But, Beer, let's hear that outro.
Well, thank you all for watching, of course. Best of luck to everybody participating in any of the upcoming Nats events. And those of you who just finished their Nats events, hope you all have a nice little break and recover a bit because I bet it was definitely stressful for some people. Shout out to our sponsor, Game 3, of course. Obviously, y'all wouldn't be here without that. And then, of course, you'll probably see us all at Nats anyways. It'll be a good time. And then, of course, shout out to Kaioken Kards, legendary master of disaster. Of course, make sure to check
That's
out.
a new one.
Yeah. Make sure to check out the Pac-Man special. Make sure to check out UniX TCG. Make sure to check out Hoffman's Labs. I guess you can check out my stream.
Me, I don't stream, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I stream.
Man. You got to stream.
I got to stream more.
You got to stream
right.
more.
You're right. I definitely should. But, what was it that they used to always say? Stay super.
See, if Pac-Man was here, he'd be going along with it. You got to go wake him up.